Pnawn da, Cynhoryd Sue Shotter Ydw. Good afternoon, my name is Councillor Sue Shotter and I'm the Chair of the Social Care and Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Can I welcome everyone to the meeting, which is a multi-location meeting. The meeting will be live streamed and recorded and will be available for viewing after the meeting. Should the live stream fail, the meeting will continue and a recording will be available through the Council's website following the conclusion of the meeting. Translation facilities are available. Please select the English language option on the microphone delegate unit in the chamber. For those attending remotely, click on the audio setting tab and select English. For those in the chamber who wish to speak, indicate by raising your hand and turn on your microphone when you wish to speak. Remote attendees who wish to speak, please use the yellow hand function. When I call out your name to speak, press the button to speak. If you have a point of order, just press the button to speak. Committee members will have their say first, then non-committee members will be given the opportunity to speak. When asking a question, please leave your microphone on until you have received a full response. While I do not wish to stifle debate, please ask all your questions in one go and please focus on the subject matter to avoid repetition. Remote attendees, if you need to leave the meeting for a short period, please pop a message in the chat function. I expect everyone participating in this meeting to conduct themselves appropriately and be respectful to each other. Diolch. Moving on to the agenda item 1, election of Vice Chair. Do I have any nominations? Councillor Cheryl? Oh, Councillor Angie.
Thank you, Chair. Can I propose Councillor Abdul, please? Thank you.
Yes. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Gale? Thank you. Are there any more nominations? Councillor Cheryl, do you want to come in?
I was going to propose Councillor Abdul, but I don't think you saw my hand.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that. Thank you. Councillor Bernice, would you like to come in? No, I don't think we can hear you. We will just come back to that soon. I presume there are no more nominations for Vice Chair? Okay, members, if we can now go to the vote, please, by a show of hands. Okay, and thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, that's been carried. Congratulations, Councillor Abdul, if you'd like to come up here, and I look forward to working with you. Okay, moving to agenda item 2, apologies for absence. Are there any apologies, Jane? Oh, Becca?
Yeah, we've had one today from Councillor Keith Eales.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 3, declarations of interest, Code of Local Government Conduct. Members are reminded that they must declare the existence and nature of the declared personal interest. Are there any declarations? No, doesn't seem to be any. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4, urgent matters. There are no urgent matters, members. Agenda item 5, minutes of the last meeting. To approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the previous meeting. These can be found on page 4 to 7. I know you've all had an opportunity to read the minutes. Unless anyone has a comment, we shall go straight to the vote. So do I have a proposer? Councillor Charlie? Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Angie. Okay, if we can now go to vote by show of hands, please. Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? That's been carried, members. Moving to agenda item 6, questions to Cabinet members. There are no questions today. Agenda item 7, to review the forward work programme, pages 8 to 11, and to review the combined forward work programme, pages 12 to 34. Rebecca Davis, committee officer, will be giving the update. Diolch, Rebecca. Oh, I apologise, it's Jane.
Only a brief update, members, just to let you know, as I'm sure you're aware, the committee met to review the forward work programme recently for the municipal year. It was really a good, productive meeting. Thank you to all who contributed. The chair and I will now work through the actions, and we will populate the forward work programme in consultation with officers. And that's my update, Chair.
Thank you very much, Jane. Everybody happy? Any comments? Okay, members, if I can have a proposer, please. Councillor Liz. And if I can have a seconder, Councillor Gale. Okay, we can now go to the vote by show of hands, please.
Remind members it's for the combined one as well.
Don't forget, members, it is actually for the combined one as well. We're voting for both together. Diolch yn fawr. Okay, any against? And any abstentions? No, that's been carried, members. Moving to agenda item 8, to consider the report by the Strategic Director, Social Care and Education on the following matters. There are 3 agenda items in this report. We will take number 1 first, which is mwy na'n geriau, more than just words, the 5-year plan 2022 to 2027. You'll find this on pages 35 to 52. The recommendation can be found on 36. Options can be found on page 42, and there is a risk implication here which can be found on page 44. The portfolio holders are Councillor Hannah Fleet and Councillor Kay Redhead. I would also like to introduce Gwenol Ellis, who is our Welsh language champion. Croeso cynghorol Gwenol. Okay, I'll just move on. Councillor Hannah will be introducing this item. Diolch, Councillor Hannan.
Fyna'n da, ydy Cynghorydd Hannah Fleet, yr aelol Cabinet Gwasanaethau, Oedolion a Cymdeithasol Integredig. Dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg. Dwi'n hapus ei gyffrio no adroddiad hwn mwy na geriau. Ynod y cefnogi, siaradwr Cymraeg i gael gwasanaethau y hiaith gyntaf. It's important that we are proactive in encouraging the daily use of our Welsh language and culture. The mwy na geriau training increases the skills and confidence of our staff. I welcome the engagement of 18 care homes and their enthusiasm using word walls and activities. Many of these homes have staff from overseas. They're uniquely placed to appreciate what sharing language and culture means. Particularly poignant for me is the reaction of those living with dementia when enjoying Welsh hymns and songs. And I'm pleased to see that the toolbox training has been well received and delivered to all staff in the Conwy Children's residential settings. Our officer, Cat Perry, will go through the report for us, but before that I will pass to Cynghorydd Gwenol Ellis from Camper Gymraeg. Diolch.
Diolch yn fawr, Cynghorydd Hannah. Yn anffodus, dwi'n methu... Ydych chi'n nghlywed i?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you, Councillor Gwenol.
Yeah. I
Diolch.
apologise. You're not going to be able to see me. There's something wrong with the camera. Diolch yn fawr iawn, Cynghorydd Hannah, a diolch am y cyfle i siarad pnawn 'ma. Ydych chi eisoes Hannah wedi cyfeirio at unigolion sy'n byw yn cymunedau ni sydd yn dioddef o dementia, a dwi wastad yn hoffi cyfeirio at colli'r cof fel silff lyfrau sydd ar fin cwympo. Pan mae'r silff lyfrau'n cwympo, yr silff olaf neu'r isaf ydy'r un olaf i fynd. A dwi'n edrych ar hynny fel y Gymraeg. Mae pobl sydd wedi dysgu'r Gymraeg fel eu mamiaith, mae hwnna'n dal yn nhw hyd at y diwedd. A dwi yn teimlo bod angen i bobl gofio bod 'na bobl sydd â Chymraeg neu oedd â Cymraeg yn famiaith iddyn nhw, wedi eu lleoli mewn cartrefi falle sydd yn y cartrefi fasach chi'n ei ystyried fel rhai Saesneg, ond rhaid cofio chi'n bod 'na bobl yn y cartrefi hynny efallai mae'r Gymraeg oedd 'u mamiaith nhw pan oedden nhw'n bychan iawn. Felly mae angen gwneud mwy fyth o ymchwil, dwi'n meddwl, i weld pwy oedd yn siarad Cymraeg pan oedden nhw'n blentyn, hyd yn oed os nag ydyn nhw ar hyn o bryd, oherwydd efallai y daw Gymraeg yn ôl iddyn nhw, a nhw wedi colli pob un cof arall. Ac cyfeirio nôl hefyd at be ddywedodd Hannah am yr gweithwyr sydd wedi dod o wledydd tramor i weithio yn cartrefi ni yng Nghonwy. Mae nhw'n dallt beth ydy dwyieithrwydd a pwysigrwydd o siarad efo pobl yn eu cartrefi nhw yn eu mamiaith, a diolch yn fawr iddyn nhw am sylweddoli hynny ac am wneud yr ymdrech. Dim ond i siarad yr ychydig o Gymraeg sydd ganddyn nhw hefyd, a mae hynny yn mynd yn bell iawn i wneud i bobl deimlo'n llawer iawn mwy cyfforddus pan maen nhw falle yn fregus iawn yn iechyd ac yn ei meddwl. Felly dwi'n croesawu'r adroddiad yma a i'r gwaith barhau i'r dyfodol. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi.
Diolch, Cynghorad Gwenolf. I'll just bring in Councillor Hannah again.
Thank you. I'd like to pass over to Cat Perry to introduce this report and tell us a bit more about it and give us some detail. Thank you.
Diolch. Dwi am gyflwyno'r adroddiad yn Gymraeg. I'm going to present the report in Welsh, so if you want to put in your translation equipment. Okay. So, dwi'n cyflwyno'r adroddiad yma ran y tîm heddiw yma, ond mae gennym ni hefyd Carol a Sharon yn fan hynny sydd yn barod i atab unrhyw gwestiynau ynglyn â manylion yr adroddiad os oes angen. So, pwrpas yr adroddiad ydy i roi trosolwg ar y cynnydd da ni wedi wneud dros y flwyddyn diwetha ar ein cynllun 5 mlynedd mwy na geiriau. Da ni wedi rhoi adroddiad flwyddyn diwetha, felly mae hwn yn adroddiad blwyddyn yma. Ein nod, fel mae pawb wedi deud, ydy i gefnogi siaradwyr Cymraeg yn ei gwasanaethau fel bod ni'n gallu darparu gwasanaethau i bobl yn eu iaith gyntaf. Mae o wedi selio ar cynllun, fel ni'n dweud, cynllun 5 mlynedd pwy nag eiriau, a mae yna themau i'r cynllun yma sydd wedi cael ei rhestru yn yr adroddiad, a da ni wedi fframio ein adroddiad ni o dan yr themau sydd yn yr strategaeth. Mae'r adroddiad wedi rhoi trosolwg i ni o'r cynnydd da ni wedi wneud fel da ni'n rhannu a hefyd rhannu datblygiadau gymarfer ar draws ein gwasanaethau mewnol ni, ein gwasanaethau comisiynnedig a'n gwasanaethau rheoliaethedig. Mae'r strategaeth yn berthnasol i'n holl wasanaethau ni. Ni symud i'r adroddiad ei hun. Fel ni'n dweud, da ni wedi fframio'r adroddiad o dan yr themau yn y strategaeth ei hun. Felly ddechrau efo diwylliant ac arweinyddiaeth. Mae yna ystadegau yma ynglyn â gallu iaith ein staff mewnol ni. Mae'n cael ei grynhoi o dan 3.2.2. Da ni yn cydnabod bod y data yn gallu bod yn anghyflawn oherwydd y nifer o staff sydd yn tansgorio ei gallu yn Gymraeg, a mae hynny yn rhywbeth da ni yn edrych arno fo, ond ar hyn o bryd dyma'r data sydd ganddo ni o ran gallu Cymraeg mae'n staff ni yn ei adrodd yn ôl i ni. Mae'n bwysig fel awdurdod i ni fod yn gallu cefnogi staff i wella'u Cymraeg llafar yn y gweithle ac gallu cefnogi staff i ddefnyddio eu Cymraeg yn ein gwasanaethau ni. A mae hwnna'n rhywbeth da ni'n, fel tîm arweinyddol, yn rhywbeth da ni'n hyrwyddo. O ran y polisia sydd gynno ni a chynlluniau sydd gynno ni i hyrwyddo y Gymraeg, mae yna fanylion yn yr adroddiad o ran beth da ni wedi wneud a'r newid yn y boblogaeth ac yn y blaen. Ond o ran datblygu sgiliau yn y gweithle, mae pob aelod o staff sydd yn newydd sydd yn cychwyn efo Conwy yn cael hyfforddiant mwy na geiriau fel rhan o'i rhaglen cyflwyno nhw. Ac mae hefyd yn, da ni hefyd yn cynnig hyfforddiant mwy na geiriau, hyfforddiant 2 awr i gyflwyno staff mewnol ag allanol bob mis i hyrwyddo mwy na geiriau, fel rhan o'n polisia ni. Mae o hefyd yn ofynnol i ni fel rhan o'n polisia i roi cynnig rhagweithiol o'r Gymraeg, felly'r active offer o'r Gymraeg, ac dyn ni'n cydnabod bod angen i ni felly recordio hynny'n well o ran lle da ni wedi cynnig y Gymraeg mewn gwasanaethau. Mae'n system recordio ni ar hyn o bryd, dio ddim yn galluogi ni bob amser i recordio lle da ni wedi cynnig y Gymraeg, ond bydd yn system mosaic ni, yr system newydd ni'n galluogi ni i fonitro hynny yn lot mwy agos ac galluogi ni ac dabod lle da ni angen gwella gwasanaethau. Wedyn symud ymlaen i dyn ni sôn am y gwaith da ni'n neud efo'n aelodau staff newydd ni a'r hyfforddiant sydd i gael. Wedyn mae gennym ni hyfforddiant arbennig wedyn efo gweithiwr cymdeithasol, lle mae gennym ni raglen MA dwyieithog mewn gwasanaethau cymdeithasol trwy Brifysgol Bangor. A mae hwnna'n yn hyrwyddo i ni gael gweithwyr cymdeithasol dwyieithog yn y gwasanaeth, a da ni'n gefnogol iawn o'r rhaglen yn Prifysgol Bangor. Mae gennym ni lwybrau hefyd ac opsiynau creadigol mwyn datblygu cymwystau'r gwaith proffesiynol, mwyn tyfu a ein grwpio staff sydd hefo sgiliau iaith trwy sgiliau iaith gwasanaeth cymdeithasol, ond hefyd gweithwyr yn yr gwasanaeth yn ehangach. Mae gennym ni hefyd ar hynny gytundebau tîm lle da ni'n annog staff sy'n siarad Cymraeg i fod yn hyrwyddo'r Gymraeg ac yn mentora ac yn siarad Cymraeg efo staff sydd falle efo diffyg hyder neu'n dysgwyr sy'n trio datblygu Cymraeg. Felly mae hwnna'n rhan o'n cytundebau tîm ni i hyrwyddo'r Gymraeg ac annog defnydd y Gymraeg yn anffurfiol ymysg yn tîmau ni hefyd ac yn ffurfiol, ond hefyd i helpu i godi hyder staff i siarad Cymraeg ymysg i tîmau. A wedyn o dan yr them rheoli gofal sydd wedi cael ei gomisiynu a gofal sydd wedi rheoleiddio, mae gennym ni ystadegau fan hyn, so gwasanaethau allanol ydy hein, mae gennym ni ystadegau fan hyn ynglyn â yr boblogaeth a yr staff sydd yn siarad gwahanol ieithoedd. A wedyn, da ni'n monitro hyn, mae'r gwasanaeth monitro yn cynhyrchu adroddiadau pan maen nhw'n mynd i weld darparwyr. A mae manylion sut mae'r Gymraeg yn cael ei hyrwyddo a sut mae diwylliant Cymraeg yn cael ei hyrwyddo yn rhan o'r elfen monitro yna efo'n darparwyr mwyn i ni gadw llygad ar y farchnad gofal ac hefyd hyrwyddo, gweld sut maen nhw'n hyrwyddo'r Gymraeg am ffordd da ni'n gallu helpu darparwyr i hyrwyddo'r Gymraeg efo'i staff. Ac o dan hynna, da ni'n trefnu hyfforddiant mwy na geiriau mae gennym ni gynllun hyfforddiant mwy nag eiriau i staff darparwyr gofal, a mae mwy o fanylion ar hynny yn Appendix 2. Mae yna enghreifftiau o'r math o hyfforddiant a'r math o ddeunydd mae'r darparwyr yn y ddefnyddio yn y gweithle i hyrwyddo defnydd y Gymraeg. Mae gennym ni gynllun lle mae'r darparwyr yn gwerthfawrogi bod nhw'n gweithio mewn partneriaeth hefo ni i edrych ar yr anghenion i staff a sut da ni'n gallu helpu nhw i ddefnyddio'r Gymraeg ac i gael diwylliant Gymraeg yn y gweithle. A fel oedden ni'n deud, mae llawer o'r gweithwyr sydd gennym ni wedi dod o dramor, a felly mae hyrwyddo'r diwylliant Cymraeg a codi ymwybyddiaeth o'r diwylliant Cymraeg ymysg y staff yn elfen bwysig o'r gwaith da ni'n neud. A wedyn, mae gennym ni, da ni wedi dysgu gwersi hefyd o ran y gwaith da ni'n neud efo darparwyr, a da ni'n adeiladu ar y gwersi yna efo'n strategaeth ni rwan i 26-27 o ran y math o hyfforddiant sydd yn addas a annog darparwyr i hyrwyddo'r Gymraeg efo'i staff. Mae yna fanylion yn fanna o ran y math yna beth da ni'n neud. O ran darpariaeth y Gymraeg i gwasanaethu preswyl plant, mae pob staff sydd yn y gwasanaethau preswyl plant hefyd yn cael sesiynau hyfforddiant y Gymraeg fel rhan o'i cynlluniau hyfforddiant. Cynllun hyfforddiant, a mae cynlluniau gofal nhw ar gyfer plant a bobl ifanc yn cael eu llunio'n ddwyieithog, a mae'r cefnogi plant drwy eu lleoliadau preswyl a cael addysg a chyfleoedd drwy gyfrwng iaith gyntaf hefyd a iaith dewis yn flaenoriaeth i ni yn y gwasanaethau plant hefyd. A mae'r gwaith da ni'n neud ar y thema yma fel da ni di amlinellu hefyd yn plethu fewn hefo ein strategaeth corfforaethol ni, ein llais Cymraeg Conwy, a da ni'n gweithio hefo'r tîm ac efo Nia o ran sut mae beth da ni'n neud yn plethu fewn yn gorfforaethol o ran y strategaeth ehangach sydd ganddo ni. Dyna di cyflwyno'r adroddiad. Mae gennym ni dewisiadau fan hyn, so yn bwriad ni ydy parhau efo'r gwaith da ni'n neud efo'r darparwyr yn y sector annibynnol yn y flwyddyn yma rwan 2026-27. A mae hynny'n wedi cael ei nodi yn yr argymhellion o ran y gwaith da ni'n mynd i neud ar elfennau'r gwaith hynny i gario'r gwaith yma ymlaen. A wedyn mae gennym ni sylwadau fel o'n i'n deud ein cynrychioli portffolio a'r pencampwr. A wedyn, fel ydych chi'n codi cadeirydd, yr elfen risg o beidio gwneud y gwaith yma ag i ni o ran ein obligiadau statudol o ran cynnig gwasanaethau drwy gyfrwng iaith dewisiedig rhywun, a hefyd wrth gwrs bod ni'n gallu rhoi gofal effeithiol i rhywun drwy yn yr iaith ma nhw'n ddymuno. Felly dyna di diwedd yr adroddiad. Os oes gennych chi gwestiynau i fi neu Sharon neu Carol.
Diolch, Catherine, for your presentation. Okay, are there any question, members? I will bring the committee in first. No, doesn't seem. Oh, diolch, Councillor Liz.
Do I need to present? No, I'm here. Wel, os ni'n hoffi llongyfarch yr adran, fel cynghorydd sir sydd wedi bod yma dros 20 mlynedd a mwy, rhaid i mi ddeud mae yna lot o waith wedi mynd ymlaen dros y flynyddoedd. A oedd o'n bleser i ddarllen yr adroddiad ac i weld faint mae'r adran wedi symud ymlaen. So, bas yn hoffi ddiolch yn fawr iawn i chi gyd am yr holl waith da chi'n neud. A fel mae cynghorydd Gwennol yn dweud, mae'n mor bwysig bod bobl sydd hefo dementia yn medru siarad yn iaith yn hunan. So diolch yn fawr iawn i chi gyd. Diolch.
Diolch, Councillor Liz. Anybody else wishing to speak today? Okay, members, it doesn't look like we have anybody else wishing to ask questions, so I think we can now move on to the recommendation, which is on page 36, item 2, 2.1, that we note and approve the contents of the report, and 2.2, that the committee support the recommendations that the work with the in-house and commission providers continue in 2026 to 2027 in terms of continued promotion of Welsh language and culture in monitoring visits, discussing ways to improve, continue to offer Nhwynau Gariau toolbox training sessions to commission providers with the ambition of reaching all 68 providers of adult services, and developing the shared examples of good practice with our providers for the benefit of all. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Liz? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Charlie? Okay, members, we are now going to open the electronic voting system. If you can all vote. Has everyone had an opportunity to vote? Jane, can we now close the electronic voting system, please? Members, that has now been carried. Diolch yn fawr. Moving on to the second part of Agenda 8, Supporting Living Provision in Conway 5-Year Delivery Plan 2026 to 2031, pages 53 to 145. The portfolio holder is Councillor Hannah Fleet, the lead officers is Catherine Perry and Ramona Murray. The recommendations can be found on page 54. Options can be found on 56. There is a risk implication here which can be found on page 62. Councillor Hannah will be given the introduction to this report. Diolch, Councillor Hannah.
Diolch. Since the early 2000s, the Disability Service has been developing 2 new supported living properties per year. This model works really well. It has good outcomes for our residents with learning disabilities, and it reduces reliance on costly residential settings. It keeps individuals living independent and fulfilled lives just where they should be in their community, near to their families. We have 127 adults in 70 settings presently. They benefit from really good person-centred support. But we have a further 65 residents that could benefit. Not all of those immediately need that benefit. There's some of them we're aware of. They're living with families and we're working towards independence. There's an incredible amount of work involved in getting these settings right. And a target of 2 a year is both ambitious but still deliverable. I'd like to hand over to the very excellently run Disability Services, and we have Ramona to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hannah. Pnawn da pawb. So, supported living 5-year plan for the Disability Service. So members will be aware that demand for supported accommodation in Conway is both significant and increasing. At present, we have 65 people waiting for supported accommodation, and our current services are effectively full, with only 1 vacancy available at the moment. The pressure is coming from a number of areas. We are seeing increasing numbers of young people moving into adulthood, people with more complex needs, and families and older carers who are no longer able to continue caring long term. The Council, obviously, as you are all aware, also has a legal duty under the Social Services and Wellbeing Act to assess and meet eligible needs, including accommodation where required. So supported living is the model we are looking to continue to expand. It is the preferred approach locally, regionally and nationally. It allows individuals to have their own tenancy, live in ordinary community housing and receive tailored support. It supports independence, well-being and inclusion and keeps people closer to their families and their communities. It is also a more cost-effective approach than residential care and plays an important role in managing long-term financial pressures. In financial terms, residential care costs are increasing significantly, particularly for people with complex needs. Supported living helps us avoid some of these costs and makes better use of funding streams such as housing benefit and housing support grants, which are not available for residential care. It's also worth noting that the Disability Service has remained within budget in recent years, and the continued development of supported living has contributed to that position. In terms of capacity, it is important to understand that this is not completely fixed. Over the last 4 years, we have seen some natural movement within supported living. When we look at this in detail, it equates to around 3 to 4 placements becoming available each year through turnover. If we combine that with the proposed delivery of 2 new schemes per year, typically providing 3 placements each, but could be more, we are realistically looking at around 9 to 10 placements becoming available each year in total. But as I said, it could be more. The average age of people in supported living currently is between 45 and 50, which means turnover may increase over time, but that is unpredictable and cannot be relied upon as a planned solution. So in practical terms, we currently have 65 people waiting, and we are creating around 9 to 10 opportunities a year. That tells us that meeting current demand will take time, particularly as new demand continues to come through. The proposal in the report is to deliver 2 supported living schemes per year over the next 5 years, providing a steady and planned increase in capacity. The first example scheme would provide accommodation for 3 individuals with no capital cost to the council and with an estimated saving of between £56,000 and £129,000 per year, depending on the support model. That's mainly the difference between a sleep-in and a night wake provision. It also demonstrates how supported living can support people to move from higher cost arrangements into more sustainable long-term options. This level of delivery reflects what we can deliver consistently and sustainably. Each scheme involves complex development work, including property, funding, procurement, workforce, and ensuring the right match for individuals. Timescales are typically 12 to 18 months, but can be sometimes longer, and the process is resource intensive. There are also practical constraints around funding and viability, particularly where schemes rely on grant funding or where higher rents may not be fully covered by housing benefit. So that said, this is not the only way that we are increasing capacity. We are also benefiting, obviously, from excuse me, natural turnover, and people moving out of the area as well. Some people may choose to move closer to families who may have moved elsewhere, taking opportunities to increase delivery where funding allows, exploring alternative funding approaches, working regionally with partners, so North Wales Together in particular, and improving how we use existing provisions. So I've got another report later on in terms of the review of current supported living. Excuse me. The 5-year programme gives us a clear pipeline which supports further development over time. Without this programme, we would see an increase in crisis placements, greater reliance on high-cost residential care, increased pressure on families and services, and a higher risk of not meeting our statutory duties. So in summary, this is a structured and preventative approach that increases capacity year on year, improves outcomes for individuals, helps us manage our financial pressures, and enables the council to meet its legal responsibilities. It allows us to plan ahead and respond to demand in a sustainable way. And that's my presentation.
Diolch, Ramona, for your presentation. Any question, member? I'll bring the committee members in first. Councillor Paul?
Thank you, Chair. I did write to Ramona and yourself prior to the committee where I was asking some questions really to test my understanding, and I touched base with Ramona prior to the meeting as well. But can I just, as I say, test my understanding and clarify further about the numbers? Fully understand there are 65 individuals requiring supported accommodation, and in the report it says there are 2 or 3 voids a year.
3.75.
3.75.
3.75.
So 3.7. Okay, 3.75 voids. And so I struggle to understand quite how we can be suggesting we can provide provision of this type for 9 or 10 people. So that's one question. And the other question to me, Hannah said it's ambitious what we're doing, and I can't judge whether it's ambitious or not, but I'm more concerned about if we were bolder than this and maybe created 4 places a year, for example. My best understanding is in order to fund that, we would have to ask RSLs over and above their grants to privately borrow money to do that. And I understand there may be additional borrowing costs to us as a council to ensure us increasing capacity further. Is my understanding of that correct?
Okay,
Diolch, Councillor Paul. Ramona?
do I have to press this again? Yeah? No. Okay. So in terms of the numbers as well, there are other supported living type services that we're able to use, which are not people's own homes as such. But have you heard of adult placements? So we've got a contract with PSS to deliver adult placements in Conway, and they're working across the region now as well. So that is supported living. It's not the same, but it's still supported living. It's tenancy based. So often what we'll have is that people will be living with families, and they will not be ready for maybe supported living, but they can step into adult placement with a family, can support them to develop their skills. Okay, so that's another option. But yeah, you're right. On its own, 2 schemes a year wouldn't meet the current demand that we have. But as I say, it does fluctuate, and there have been periods of time where we've had 9, 10, 11 voids, vacancies within the current supported living portfolio. In the last few years, it's dropped to 3, 4, but it has been more in the past, and you can't always predict that very well. Sometimes people sadly may pass away, the age profile is higher in supported living, but sometimes people may develop additional needs where they require a higher level of support, for example nursing care, so they might move into the residential sector. Sometimes we've had a couple of people have gone, I don't want to continue living independently, and have gone home to live with their families, so it does fluctuate. But what we have done as well in disabilities is we take opportunities where they arise. So there was a property opposite here which was being developed by another service area, and they weren't able to use that, and we hadn't planned that one, but it was offered to us, and we took it. So we will respond in a way, and we're keeping our ear to the ground. We've got Ellen, our service development officer, who is liaising with housing and with colleagues in other service areas as well, to ensure that we can maximise the opportunities to develop as much as we can.
So
the second bit.
Okay.
So RSLs generally, the preferred model is that they use social housing grants, and they use and we've been using Housing Capital Fund, Welsh Government funding, it's regional funding, over the last few years, and before that it was ICF capital funding. But there are some, because the complexity of the needs of some of our people and the type of footprint that we need in terms of properties and space and adaptations and all that, they're quite expensive developments, very expensive developments. And so even with social housing grants and Housing Capital Fund, they will often have to use private finance as well in most of the schemes. Obviously where they can't, there's no grant or there's less HCF, they'll have to borrow more private finance, and that's when the rents start to go up a bit more, and it becomes more challenging. So far, in terms of housing benefits, even where we've had significant weekly rents, they have agreed in the negotiation with the RSLs to pay that level of rent. But these rents are creeping up when there's less grant funding. The council can access, what's it called now? I can't remember. PWLB, Public Works Loan Board. That's right, is that? And we have done that in the past. We've got properties where the council has provided additional funding to the RSLs to purchase properties. So disabilities, we have 4 of the such properties, and there are legal charges against those properties in favour of the council. So if the property is no longer suitable, can't be used. Actually, Scheme A in the report is one such property where there's a legal charge. So if we didn't use that, then and the property was sold, then the council would receive value of that property up to a certain amount back from the RSL, because there's been historical legal charge against that property. So we can, the council can do that, and that may be something that we need to consider where grants or social housing grant become more difficult, and the private rents and the private finances causing the rents to become too high. We may need to then have a conversation with the heads of service and director of finance around using that funding.
Thank you very much for that detailed explanation. So just further to test my understanding, what you're saying is it's completely possible for RSLs or the local authority to borrow additional monies, but those additional monies, both in terms of the payback of those debts and the interest, the way that would be done is the service user, the tenant, would end up paying higher rents in those circumstances. So there's the difficulty of us borrowing more money anyway, but the consequence of that is it impacts particularly on those tenants requiring that service.
Yeah, well, private finance, they can secure private finance through, and the interest rates might be 6 or 7% for the RSL. So that would cause the rents to be higher. If they access funding through the local authority, through the PWLB, then the interest rates are lower, aren't they? So that might be an option that we need to consider in the future. But at this stage, we're okay. The big issue for us is the capacity of the management team within disabilities, because we've been developing these services at least 2 a year, and actually a couple of years ago more, didn't we? About 4 1 year. And it is incredibly time consuming. We're delivering operational services. I mean, this is an operational service, but it's a significant development, very, very time consuming to do it right. And we want to do it right, and we do it in a co-produced way with families. So, you know, it's really important that we give it the attention that it needs to get it right. If we get it wrong, it goes wrong really badly.
And of course, you'd have to put in a business case for additional capacity if you were building a different increased provision.
Well, if we were going to ask the council to loan money, then we'd be going down that route. This particular time, you know, the position now is that this is a way that we meet our statutory duties, and it's an operational service. So we would be, the way that we would take these schemes forward is that we would be briefing the head service, we would be working out with our commissioning team what that service was going to cost in terms of revenue, and then the housing association would be talking to our housing strategy colleagues around grant funding. And we go down the tendering process.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Diolch Ramona for a really in-depth reply. Much appreciated. Okay, I'm going to call in Councillor Cheryl if she would still like to come in.
Diolch, Chair. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Lovely. And congratulations to yourself and Councillor Abdul on your elections. So, first of all, I'd like to thank the officers for an absolutely excellent report. And it's just about passing a comment, really, as both carers champion and as a parent. I commend this approach by Conway, this far-sighted and, you know, well-costed and planned approach they take to this. It's every parent's nightmare what's going to happen to their child, young person, when they're unable to care. And this planning, this amount of planning, really eases that burden for everybody and makes the life as independent as possible for the people concerned. And I see it in action all the time. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'd just like to move to the recommendations and move option 1, the 5-year programme.
Diolch, Councillor Sherrill. Okay, I'm going to call in Councillor Frank. Councillor Frank, you need to put on your mic, please.
Can't hear me?
Yes, Councillor Frank, we can now hear you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Submitted a report relating to the disability and the work that Conway does with the people who are who suffer from disability, especially those who serve the country. And Conway can hold its head up high, and I pay my respects to Ramona Murray for the support she's given me and that department since 2016, extended in 2019, and it's even extended this year because now I have veterans that I look after who live in St Helens. Now, that's fine. I love it. I just love it. But I could not do anything to help veterans if I didn't have the support of the social services in Conway. And that's remarkable, really, when you think Conway does not have a military depot, doesn't have a naval port, doesn't have now an airfield. So my congratulations to social services. I do thank you all for this report and continue working hard. I thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you.
Deal, Councillor Frank. I'm going to call in Councillor Emily.
Thanks, Chair. Just a couple of questions from me, more to test my understanding than anything else. Firstly, have these developments already been included in the SHUG pipeline that Housing have got already? From a health board perspective, what's the line where it falls with social services funding and then health? And what commitment has Betsy made to support the delivery of the plan? And then the third is this reference in the report to the delay around the regional intermediate care proposal. I'm not fully cited on that. Do you mind just filling me in a little bit?
Right, in terms of the colleagues in housing, we generally work with an RSL that is on the framework, and they have regular conversations with our partners in housing, and they have a programme. So we've got a programme with this particular housing association that they've had conversations with housing strategy about. So that's that first bit. The second bit, in terms of health and the line, I'd be a millionaire if I could answer that one. It is constantly shifting, and it's difficult, and it continues to be difficult. We have structures in place within the service to make sure that we're tracking every single case where we feel that there should be a contribution from health. It's very difficult, continues to be so, yeah. And in terms of the last bit of your question,
yes. So yeah, the regional funding, yeah, there is a review now by Welsh Government of RIF funding and the associated capital. We have a 10-year capital strategy which we brought to you in 2023, but obviously that's in phases, and so the regional team are looking at with Welsh Government about the continuation of HCF, IRCF, and what those schemes are going to be looking like. So yeah, that will come to us, but we are told that there will be funding going forward. So and I think these sorts of schemes will probably still be priority in there, but we can't guarantee that yet.
Diolch, Councillor Emily. I'm going to call in Councillor Liz.
Thank you. Included in this report is the statistics about children with disabilities in North Wales. And I've read this with alarm, to be honest. It's very, very frightening, and you'll never be without a job.
I'm retiring.
But and I was just sharing with Councillor Kay, if any work is done in this region, or any work is done in Conwy, I would love to be involved, because I've got a great interest, and especially in neurodivergence. Because I was speaking to health visitor colleagues only this week, and they shared with me how they are coming and assessing children at a very early stage, 20 months old, with neurodivergency. And it's just so concerning. And if you think of the benefit system, there's so many people now claiming benefits, DLA, for children with dyslexia and dyspraxia. I was quite amazed to read that, to be honest. But, so within the benefit system, there's a lot of people claiming benefits, but could get support and help in other areas. Because I just feel maybe some are claiming benefits, but not really trying hard enough to help the child either. That might sound a little bit disrespectful, but that's the way I look at it from. Well, I suppose a parent myself who had a dyslexic and dyspraxic child, and I fought hard for my child to achieve in life. And I know there are other members like me who have likewise done the same for their children. So I support anything that you do in your department, because I've commended your work over the years, and supported living. I remember Charlie and I went along one afternoon, didn't we, in Abergele, and we were really impressed with the work that's going on. So thank you very much indeed, but I've got a great interest in this field. Thank you.
Diolch, Councillor Liz. And while I'm here, I'm just going to thank Councillor Cheryl, also, who's our champion. And thank you, Councillor Liz, for putting your name forward to take this mantra forward as well. It really is appreciated. Okay, are there any more questions before we go to the recommendations? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, the recommendation can be found on page 54. Item 2, 2.1, that the committee recommend that the Cabinet supports the strategic approach to developing supported living settings to meet the needs of adults with disabilities through the development of potentially 2 new support living services per year for a period of 5 years, 2026 to 2031, and 2.2, subject consideration of the recommendations of the Social Care and Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee, Cabinet approves the 5-year development plan for the supported living. I already have a proposal, which is Councillor Cheryl. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Liz? Okay, members, can we now open the electronic voting system, please? Has everybody had an opportunity to vote? Can we now close the electronic voting system, please? Members, that's been carried. Diolch yn fawr. Moving on to our final report on Agenda 8, Disability Services, Supported Living Review 2025 to 2027, pages 146 to 203. The portfolio holder is Councillor Hannah. Lead officers is Catherine Perry, and the contact officers are Romana Murray. Recommendations can be found on 147. There is a risk implication here, which can be found on page 157. I would also like to just introduce Councillor Frank Bradfield, who is our Member Champion for Disabilities. Croeso, Councillor Frank. Councillor Hannah now will give the introduction. Diolch, Councillor Hannah.
Diolch. So any review of our services is welcome because it helps us to ensure that what we're delivering is good, of high quality and value for money. So I'm pleased to see this review, which shows how we are supporting individuals to live a good life, an ordinary life within their community. I welcome the funding from North Wales Together. We have 127 Conwy residents whose homes are in 70 supported living houses. This person-centred and co-produced review involves both those individuals and families in exploring their desired outcomes and how they can be achieved. The focus is on moving from doing for to doing with, building on their strengths, allowing positive risk and making use of IT and sensors. Right-sizing our provision will optimise our ability to support individuals in the best way for them. As a result, individuals will be able to grow, connect and live more fulfilled lives in Conwy. And I shall hand over to our officer, Ramona. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hannah. This report provides Scrutiny Committee with an update on the first year of the Supported Living Review 2025 to 2027, which is a comprehensive outcome-focused review of supported living services for adults with disabilities in Conwy. The work is funded through the North Wales Together Transformation Programme, around £35,000 per annum for 2 years, and covers all supported living provision across the county. So the review has been established to strengthen the Council's approach to assessing the quality, effectiveness and sustainability of supported living services. It aligns with the duties set out in the Social Services and Wellbeing Wales Act, with a clear focus on promoting independence, wellbeing and proportionate care and support. At its core, the review is about ensuring that individuals are supported to live ordinary lives in their communities with the right level of support to achieve meaningful outcomes. A key feature of the approach is to move away from traditional time and task care models towards a more outcome-focused model where support is regularly reviewed to reflect people's changing needs and aspirations. The review has been delivered using a structured and consistent methodology, supported by standardised tools and clear governance arrangements. It considers the lived experience of individuals, the quality of support, and how effectively services promote independence, choice, and community inclusion. Co-production is central to this work, with individuals, families, and carers actively involved throughout the review process. Early findings indicate a number of positive outcomes. There's evidence of strong person-centred practice across many providers, and the review has already supported improvements in independence and community participation for some individuals. In a number of cases, support has been safely reduced where needs have changed, helping to release capacity within existing services and avoid escalation into higher cost or more restrictive placements. Alongside this, the review has identified areas where further consistency and development are required. These include improving the recording of outcomes, strengthening progression planning, and building confidence in positive risk-taking across services. The findings have been used to inform ongoing service improvement and future commissioning decisions. A notable aspect of the review is the increased use of evidence and technology to inform decision making, and here we're working really closely with our IT colleagues. This includes the use of, this is just an example of LoRaWAN sensor technology. LoRaWAN stands for Long Range Wide Area Network, apparently, deployed with consent in some supported living services, and that's the issue. It's deployed with consent. These low-power sensors monitor environmental and activity patterns within the home, such as movement, door usage, or environmental conditions over time, providing an executive picture of day-to-day routines and how people are using their homes. So one of the areas that is really useful is looking at nighttime disturbance, what the movement is around the property at night. This information does not capture personal or intrusive data, but supports practitioners to make more accurate and defensible assessments of need, enabling proportionate care planning and supports positive risk-taking. It complements rather than it replaces professional judgment and engagement with individuals and families. And it has led to an increase as well as decrease as well in support. So it's not about, you know, it's not about reducing services, it's about, you know, accurate assessments. The review is supported by clear governance and oversight arrangements. An operational project group meets regularly to monitor progress, risks and consistency of approach, with reporting provided to North Wales Together. This ensures transparency, accountability and a consistent methodology across all reviews. From a financial perspective, the review is externally funded and does not place additional pressure on core service budgets. Importantly, it is contributing to improved value for money by ensuring support is proportionate, making better use of existing accommodation and resources, and helping to avoid unnecessary increases in care or escalation into higher cost provision. So, example of better use of existing accommodation and resources. We had a couple of properties that were developed during as part of resettlement from Bryn Eyre Hospital. And they were very, very large properties, and the individuals who moved in were deemed at the time to require a significant amount of space. Those individuals no longer reside in those properties, and they are very large. So we've actually taken the opportunity, working with individuals living there and the families and the staff teams, to actually introduce additional tenants. So that's one of the ways, Councillor Paul, that we would be looking to actually make best use of our resources and provide additional spaces. And I was just here listening today to feedback from practitioner around an individual's moved in as a third tenant into one of the properties, and how well that is going and how positive it has been for the individuals, both existing tenants and the new person moving in. So that's really pleasing to hear. The report also identifies a number of risks which are being actively managed. These include the risk of increasing demand and cost escalation if services are not systematically reviewed, the potential impact on individuals where changes to support are made, and the risk that review could be perceived as financially driven. There are also capacity considerations in completing the full programme of reviews within the funded timeframe. There are, within the report, there are mitigations in place for all of those risks. So the risks are mitigated through a person-centred and multidisciplinary approach to assessment and review, strong governance and oversight, adherence to safeguarding and mental capacity processes, and continued emphasis on communication, co-production and transparency with individuals, families and providers. Consideration is also being given how the work can be sustained beyond the current funding period if required. So 2 years seems quite, for the project, seems quite a long time, but when you've got that many supported living settings to holistically review. I mean, people have had their statutory annual reviews, but that's a sort of individual review. So this is reviews looking at the whole, the relationships, the right sizing, the whole service, the building, everything. And it can be quite, some of them can be quite straightforward, but some have been very, very complex to work with, to deliver change and improvements for people. So that's why we're likely, well, we're highly likely to go beyond the 2 years, and we need to be working with head of service to ensure that we continue this work beyond the 2 years. And we're currently having a review of our capacity and structure, so that's going to be considered as to how we can continue with this work, because it is really important, especially when you consider the amount, the number of people involved, but also the revenue, the significant amount of revenue that is you know, supports these supported living services. It's a significant amount of money. We need to ensure that we are getting quality services for our tenants and our citizens. So looking ahead, so we'll continue to roll out the review across all the supported living settings that we can within the 2 years, embed outcome-focused commissioning approaches into business as usual, and use the learning to inform future accommodation planning and market development. And a final evaluation, well, I say a final evaluation report in terms of the funded project will be presented in 2027. In summary, the Supported Living Review represents a structured, evidence-based approach to ensuring that supported living services in Conway remain person-centred, proportionate and sustainable, with early findings demonstrated positive outcomes for individuals and improved use of resources.
Diolch, Ramona, for your presentation. It sounds like there's a lot of work that's gone into this. Much appreciated.
Yes, it is.
Okay, members, now on to questions, and the committee first. Anybody wishing to ask anything? Okay, I think we can go forward to the recommendations here. Da iawn. Okay, recommendations. Oh, I do apologise, Councillor Charlie, you just nearly missed that.
Sorry, Chair.
Deal.
A bit tardy in my reaction time. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Rowan and the team for all the reports this morning. They've been really clear, coherent, giving us as members all the information that we need, and really positive in the direction of travel as well. So just wanted to thank that. And on that note, I'd be very happy to move the recommendations.
Thank you, and I will actually second that as well. Not the recommendation, but that you've put in really great reports today. Been really appreciated. Okay, recommendations can be found on page 147. There are actually 6 of these, I think. Oh, I do apologise, Simon. Would you like to come in?
Diolch, Chair. Just wanted to pay compliment to our IT department, who are behind the digital technology that they're deploying in the field so successfully, from the sound of it, which was developed in Conway. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Our IT colleagues have been absolutely fantastic, and we've got a really close working relationship with them and involved with us along the way. So it's fantastic, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Simon. Okay, recommendations can be found on 147, page 147. There are 6 of these. I'm actually going to take each one individually. So I've also got a proposer. So we'll start with 2.11, which is to note the progress and work undertaken today in respect of the Supported Living Review. Councillor Charlie has proposed it. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Emily? Okay, if we can now open the electronic voting system, please. Has everyone had an opportunity to vote? Can we now close the electronic voting system? This recommendation has been supported. I'm going to go to recommendation next, 2.1.2. To note the use of North Wales Together transformation funding to support outcomes focused reviews of supported living services. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Emily, and a seconder, Councillor Liz. Can we now open the electronic voting system, please? Has everyone had an opportunity to vote? Can we now close the electronic voting system? Diolch yn fawr. This item has now been passed. Recommendation 2.1.3. Support the continued implementation of the review and the associated right sizing activities. Can I have a proposer? Councillor Emily and Councillor Charlie. If we can now open the electronic voting system. Everybody had an opportunity to vote? Okay, if we can now close the electronic voting system, please. Diolch. Okay, that has been carried. Recommendation 2.1.4. Agree that a final evaluation report is presented early 2027. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Gale. And I think Councillor Liz, did you second that? Diolch yn fawr. Okay, if we can now open the electronic voting system, please. Diolch. Has everybody had an opportunity to vote? Okay, can we now close the electronic voting system? Okay, that's been carried. Diolch yn fawr. Recommendation 2.15, that the Social Care and Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee recommend that Cabinet note the progress and funding source and support the implementation of the review. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Simon. Seconder, Councillor Charlie. Can we now open the electronic voting system, please? Has everybody had an opportunity to vote? Okay, thank you, Councillor Paul. Can we now close the electronic voting system? Diolch yn fawr. That has been carried. Recommendation 2.16, that Cabinet note the progress and funding source and support the continued implementation of the review. Can I have a proposer? Councillor Liz, seconder, Councillor Simon. Can I now have the electronic voting system open, please? Has everybody had an opportunity to vote? If we can now close the voting system, please. Diolch. Diolch yn fawr. That's been carried. Members, before we actually close the meeting, first can I thank Jane and Rebecca and all the officers for participating today, and for yourselves as well for contributing to this meeting. And finally, I'm sure some of you already know that Romana Murray is retiring. On behalf of the committee, can I thank you for your dedication, your hard work and passion that you have given us, not only to the committee, but also to the County of Conway. It has been really appreciated. And we wish you a wonderful retirement. I hope you have a brilliant retirement and you enjoy it. Members,